If you remember when you were in school, what would your mom do? What would your parents do? Just before the school begins in June, rains also start. The monsoon begins. And what you would do? Your mom will take you, buy a raincoat, buy an umbrella, and get ready for the monsoon. All of us do that in India. We all get ready for the monsoon. We don't buy an umbrella after it has rained. This is a time when we also probably cut branches if there are trees, because in the rains they can fall. Then we also do Teflon coating in the car because of the rains. And many things we do in preparation for monsoon. We don't wait for the monsoon, we don't for the rains to happen. We start it in the end of May or early June. Friends, this also happens in the investing world. Right now, the markets have reached fresh new highs, both Sensex and Nifty. Is it is it the beginning of a bull run? I don't know. But if the markets were to keep going up, just like the monsoon, you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared with your portfolio and many things about your portfolio. Because if you do the right things, this portfolio, which is in your hand, will grow and give you far more returns. But if you keep quiet and don't do anything and just follow the crowd, just follow everybody else, and out of FOMO, do some investing or make some decisions, that will be harmful for you and your wealth. So the best thing is to be prepared beforehand. So when the time happens, when actually the bull run happens, you're prepared and you have already made those decisions. And that is exactly what I'm going to share today in today's video. I have been doing that for many years, and now I would like you to do it, especially when we see the signs of the market going up. After 1 year and 2 months, the markets have gone back to the last highs. So probably this is a sign, this is an indication of a new season. It may not happen quickly, it may take a few more months, but this is a sign, and you and I have to be prepared. And that's this video is all about preparation. Probably clean up. Hi, I'm Franky. I'm Franky Fernandes. I'm the founder of Harmony and Money. It's a community for young families where the families get an opportunity to watch a number of courses which they can help them to grow their financial literacy, help them to build their wealth together and make their relationship strong, and also overcome some of their wrong, bad habits and challenges. You can find a link in the description if you'd like to know more about this community. I keep doing webinars every week. You can check, click the link, probably register for the upcoming webinar. So let's get into today's interesting video. Often, when the markets fall, a lot of them are afraid. There is fear that grips them and they sell. And when the markets are going up, there's another emotion called greed. And a lot of investors follow the herd mentality. If the markets are going up, everybody's investing, they also invest. And they end up investing in bad stocks also, bad mutual funds. And when the markets go down, they tend to withdraw their money. But I don't want you to be like them. I want you to be a smart investor and make smart and prudent decisions. Every now and then I have somebody coming to me and showing their portfolio of mutual funds and stocks and tell me, can you please assess this portfolio? Help me go through this and let me know if there are good stocks. Should I keep those stocks? Should I keep those mutual funds? What should I do? And I do offer them my advice. But I believe this probably is a very good time now to reassess. And in this video, I'll be covering 5 things. 5 things because I see right now that the markets have hit fresh highs and may go up. I'm not sure whether this is a start of a bull run. Probably yes. But even if it is not, what I'm going to teach you will remain with you. Keep it with you. I often do it whenever I feel is the right time. And I want to tell you this thing, which you also can do. So in these 5 things, what I'm going to teach you, what I'm going to share with you today. So let's go one by one. So number one is clean up. Clean up your portfolio of stocks and mutual funds. Probably you have both stocks and mutual funds, or maybe you have just mutual funds. But since I have a small percentage, probably 10% of my equity portfolio is stocks. I do. That's why I would like to tell you, and also mutual funds. So what do we do about stocks? I'm not a stock expert. I follow some fund managers. I watch a lot of podcasts, and then I make my decisions. I personally do not study individual companies. So mostly it is subjective knowledge, and maybe I look at momentum investing and I do investing. I'm not an expert, but one thing I do every time I see this is the right time and the market may go up, I look at my stocks and mutual fund portfolio. Remember one thing, when the markets go up in the bull run, when even the Panwala talks about stocks, remember that it is not just a group of stocks, it is number of stocks, thousands of stocks, probably all the stocks listed go up. So it is not just the good, it is also the bad. And the misunderstanding and the misconception is that when we get tips from people, right, and we invest, a lot of them invest, a lot of people get tips from maybe influencers or maybe something on the YouTube. When they invest and the price goes up, they think, wow, what a decision I made. But remember, friends, even bad stocks go up. So what you should do, something that not everybody does, right? Don't get into the herd mentality, but what you should do is take a look at your portfolio. Let's talk about stocks. Probably you've got 15, 20 stocks. Now I'm 100% sure not all are quality stocks. Probably they were quality, they were great, but right now they may not be. So what I would request you is look at all your stocks, and this is the time to clean up the poor or low quality stocks. You know why? When the market goes up and when it comes down, crashes or whatever, which is going to happen, the good quality stocks will not fall down so much. Probably they may even go up, but the poor quality stocks will crash. So this is the time when they go up, like all the other stuff. When they're going up, sell them, clean them up, and replace them with good quality stocks. So it is not that you're just coming out, you're actually taking those funds, maybe thousands or whatever, a lakh or a few lakhs, take them and invest in good quality stocks, probably in the same companies which you already have. Build your portfolio, because if you see that some stock is doing great, take this money and invest there. Because when the market goes up, they definitely will go up more than the poor quality stocks. And even when they fall, the market falls, it will not fall, it will not crash. So there are two advantages of this. And why you should do now is because this is the right time. Maybe not exactly now, but why am I telling you right now? Because when the market goes up, if you're prepared, and when the market goes up and it's in a bull run, you know which stocks to clear. So shortlist them stocks that you want to take off. Remember that if you have a lot of stocks, and we are not stock experts, the more number of stocks, more you have to monitor. So what you should do is have a decent number, probably 10, max 15, because there is enough diversification and also you can monitor. Because if you have 20, 30, 40 stocks, how will you monitor? That'll take away a lot of your time. And I don't want you to spend time on looking at stocks. You should be doing your work. You should be self-developing. You should be taking time with your family and your hobbies and health, not on stocks. So less number of stocks, you have more time, disposable time with you. And another thing which you have to do with your stocks is, if you have subscribed for IPOs and you've got allotted, probably this is the right time to clean up the IPOs. You can watch my video on the IPOs which I had created. That most IPOs actually lose their steam, and over the years they actually give you poor returns, even returns less than Nifty or Sensex. Even the benchmark they're not able to beat. So this is the right time probably to clean up your IPOs. Now coming to mutual funds. Now I believe this will be a big part of your portfolio, and this must be a big part of your portfolio. If you don't believe this, please watch my video where I have clearly explained that mutual funds is what we all should have in our portfolio. So what you should do with mutual funds? Number one, this is a time to actually sell your poor performing mutual funds and replace with good ones. Now, what are poorly performing mutual funds? Don't go by just 1 or 2 years, because 1 or 2 years is too less a time to judge a mutual fund. At least 3 years, if you should watch. If it is consistently underperformed, probably now is the right time to sell because it will also go up with the others. But right time to sell and invest it in a good fund. Because top funds, I have done the analysis. Funds that are top, next year they could be at the bottom. Funds that are bottom, next 2 years, 1 or 2 years later, they could be at the top. So don't judge a fund by just 1 year. At least 3 years or max 4 years. And then you must withdraw them if you consistently see that they are not doing well. That is one thing. And replace them with good funds. Second, I'm sure you have a lot of mutual funds, and I've also made this mistake. For example, you may have 4 flexi cap funds, 4 large cap funds, 5 mid cap funds, 6 small cap funds. I'm sure you have. If you have something like this, it's not a good strategy. It is not diversification, it is duplication, because your 4 flexi cap funds will have a lot of duplication unless they are different strategies, that the way like the way I explained 3 clusters in my previous YouTube on flexi cap. You must watch that if you haven't watched. In that case, it is fine. But otherwise, you should not have more than 2 funds in a category. For example, large cap, 2 or max 3, mid caps, 2 or 3, small caps, 2 or 3, flexi cap, 3 to 4, because there are different philosophies and management styles in flexi caps. So you should not have a lot of funds. So if you consider flexi cap, mid cap, small cap, large cap, probably 8 to 10 funds, max. If you have a lot of funds, then it doesn't help. There is over diversification, which actually negates the whole diversification concept. And remember one thing: do not have from the same company, and ensure that there is not too much of duplication of the same companies, unless you are very sure they are great funds, right? So this is what you can do in mutual funds. So this is the time to take a look at your portfolio. Do you have too much of thematic funds? Then my strong recommendation is your thematic funds portfolio exposure should not be more than 5 to 10%. And I made a video on this. The best time to enter thematic funds is during the bear markets. And the best time to withdraw or redeem or sell your thematic funds is during the bull run, because that is when they really rise. And that's when you have to come out. Do not have more than 5 to 10% of your portfolio. If your risk profile is low, probably you should not have any thematic funds. But if it is aggressive, probably you should have not more than 10%, because it's a satellite portfolio like international funds or any other types of funds. And finally, in mutual funds, when you look at your portfolio, it consists of equities and hybrid and debt funds. And we are right now in the rate fall scenario. That means the interest rates keep falling. And if you have invested in debt funds, the funds that you invest, if the interest rates fall, they rise. The market prices go up. So you gain even in debt funds. And it could range from 8 to 10% even in a debt fund when the interest rates are falling. And right now we are in that scenario. RBI may cut rates going forward. I don't know when. This is just an assumption from whatever I've heard. So if that happens, you stand to gain. So these are the things you should do for your stock portfolio and for your mutual fund portfolio. And there's one very important thing which one fund manager whom I admire a lot. In fact, we worked in the same company in the Alliance Capital. I worked there for 3 years. And the name of the fund manager is Samir Arora. And one very beautiful thing he says when you're investing in stocks, he's obviously talking about stocks, he's talking about his portfolio, he's a fund manager. He says, the idea is not to choose the best companies, but to eliminate the bad companies. Because we do not know which among the good companies will become great. Even the promoter doesn't know how his or her company will perform in the future. Nobody knows. But what you can do is eliminate the bad. And here also, in your stocks and in your mutual funds, eliminate the bad. I think that is what you should do. We don't know which ones will do well. And if you would have watched my earlier video, even the worst performing mutual funds do very good. They give 10 to 12% returns, worst performing. So even if you do not have great funds, it will still give you good returns. But get rid of the bad. What you have will be good. And in the next 5, 10 years, this stock, this portfolio will give you great returns because you have eliminated, you have taken off all the dirt, the poor quality stocks, poor quality funds. So what you have is good. And this is a good time when you're preparing for a rally or a bull run. So now number two. Now this is something which most investors I have known underestimate. In fact, they do not even consider it, but it has an effect on their mental and their physical health, which they do not realize. Not everything in the field of finance, in the world of money, is math, is returns, but it is sanity, health, mental health. And many have gone through enough hardships just because they ignored this, especially during COVID times and during, during other crashes. And that is assessing your risk profile. This is the best time, the right time to reassess your risk profile. Whether you invest in flexi caps or mid caps or micro caps or stocks, it all depends on what is your risk profile. If your risk profile is very low and you keep investing during the bull markets because everybody's investing and your markets, your stocks are also going up, your mutual funds are going up, and this is exactly what happened post COVID from 22 probably till 24. Everybody was investing. When the crash happened in 24, when that little drawdown happened, 20-25%, or during COVID, many have actually had sleepless nights. They struggled. They were afraid. Some have come to me and asking me what to do. That is because their risk profile is low. You know, during COVID, because I had seen the markets for so many decades, during COVID, I was not really afraid. I in fact invested more in mutual funds and stocks, and they have given me great returns. At the same time, there were many who came out. That is because their risk profile was low. Many have quit investing in stock markets because their risk profile was low. Unless you have a good risk profile, you cannot invest wherever you like. It is like, let me give you an example about food. Westerners cannot eat spicy food. But if you come down south, especially in Andhra and Hyderabad, where I lived for so many years, people eat very spicy food. Now, can everybody eat spicy food? Yes, it looks great. Maybe a great biryani, a great kebab. It may smell good, but not everybody can eat and enjoy it because there are some who cannot handle spice. For example, a small child cannot handle spice. For me, my spice levels are moderate. I want spice. You can never enjoy eating spicy food in America, for example, because it is not spicy. You need some spice. So I am moderate, but I cannot have a lot of spice. I cannot tolerate. My spice tolerance is moderate. I eat a very spicy food just because it smells good, it looks good. What will happen? I have stomach upset. My tongue burns. I'm hurt. I didn't enjoy. And same thing happens in the investment world. When your risk profile is low and you invest during bull market just because everybody's doing it out of FOMO, when the markets fall, you cannot handle it. Many have sleepless nights. It is also proven that many, when the stock markets fall, especially if they've invested a lot of their money, most of their money or everything, if they've invested in stock markets and the markets fall, they have sleepless nights. They also go through mental health challenges, issues, because they could not handle. On the other hand, there are some people, even if the market falls, they invest more. They wait. They can wait long term because they have seen the markets. They can handle high risk. So, what is your risk profile, my friend? Find out. Find out. In this description, you will find a link to a risk assessment, risk profile assessment, where you can do as a couple, as a family, because your risk profile should be your family's risk profile. That means if your wife is afraid of, a high risk and you are okay about it, it is not okay because when the markets fall, if your wife sees them and if she's also, she understands and she feels stressed. So as a couple, you should find out. So please go check the description, click the link and find out what is your risk profile. There are other calculators also in that page. You can try both of them or you can try one of them. Check your risk profile. And risk profile changes over the years. Earlier, you may have a very low risk profile, risk averse, you may not be able to handle risk, but over the years, probably you're able to handle risk. So now is the time to actually invest, change your funds based on your risk profile, right? And also, maybe earlier you had a very high aggressive risk profile, uh, but now you are retired or you are closer to retirement. Now you cannot take a lot of risk as a young man or a woman. You cannot take. If you are a man or woman 50s or 60s, you have to reduce your risk. So reassess your risk profile. And the next immediate step is rebalancing of your portfolio, because very close to your risk profiling is your asset allocation. Your asset allocation is a product of your risk profile and your financial goals. So risk profile, asset allocation, and the financial goals, they all go together. So this is the right time to actually reassess your equities, your hybrid, and your debt portfolio. For example, if your risk profile is moderate, and you should have, probably at your age, if you're in your 30s, probably you should have 60% of equities because you're moderate, 60 or 70. But because the markets go up, it has now become 90, 95 equity. What you should do? Right time to rebalance, sell your equities, and invest that into debt or hybrid funds and reduce your equity exposure, because your risk profile is moderate and the equities have gone beyond. So this is the time to rebalance. Remember, very important, please make a note. If your equities is 90% and 10% is debt, right? If you cut it down and bring it down to 85, for example, or 80, and the rest goes into the debt, a few years later, if the market crashes, the debt will remain there. It will keep growing. Your equities will fall. And that is the best time to move your debt into equity. And I have done this a number of times. You can watch my video where I've clearly explained this. Rebalancing is very important now, especially when the markets keep going up, your equities exposure keeps going up. This is the right time to see, because if you have only equities and the market crashes, it's a very bitter feeling, like we saw in October 2024 last year. Is once again the risk profile link, the assessment calculator is in the description. Please take the test and find out. It's just 15 questions. Find out what is your risk profile. We come to number 3, reassess your financial goals. Very closely linked to risk profile, as I mentioned, and asset allocation is your financial goals. And your financial goals are your emergency funds, your retirement goals, your children's education, their wedding, or maybe your housing or car, whatever. This is a time to reassess, because this is a time when you're changing your funds, and probably you had several funds towards one goal. Now you have to reduce the number of funds towards that goal. Your emergency funds, probably you had 3 to 4 months, make it 6 months. If it is 6 months, you can increase it probably, and move from equity into debt, long-term debt. And a portion of that you can assign it to emergency funds. And all the other, your retirement goals, your education, children education, and the other goals, you can now revisit your goals and see where you are and accordingly adjust your funds. And if at this point in time you need to increase your SIPs, or you need to make some changes to your portfolio, this is the right time. A quick rule of thumb, based on a moderate risk profile, if any goals, your financial goals are around 5 years, aggressive hybrid fund is a good one. You can watch my video on aggressive hybrid funds, because they give very good returns, even better returns than sometimes large caps. So having an aggressive hybrid fund is good. Less than 5 years, you should have in other hybrid funds or long-term or long duration debt funds. If it is less than 2 years, then it is best to have it in ultra short-term fund or liquid funds or money market funds. So this is the way you can arrange. And above 5 years, flexi caps, mid caps, and about 10 years, more of mid caps and small caps and micro caps, if your risk profile is high. So this is the way you can look at your financial goals and reassign your funds right now. Because a lot of times, a lot of the funds have no label to it, have no label. They're not labeled against a particular, they're not tied up against a particular goal. So this is the best time, please do it. And you want to know more about the financial goals, you can watch my video on common financial goals, DIY, or retirement goals, DIY videos. Those are my very first 1 or 2 videos. You can watch them and learn from them. You can download the Excel there also. Now, as you rebalance, sell, and buy new funds, obviously you are booking capital gains. Now keep an eye on this. And there's something called capital loss and capital gain harvesting. So whenever you book losses, long-term capital losses, you can set it off against your long-term capital gains. So that way your income tax liability comes down. Now, long-term capital gains can be set off only against long-term losses, whereas short-term losses can be set off against even long-term gains. So just bear in mind. So you can actually save on tax. And another thing which you can do is also capital gain harvesting, which means keep an eye on your capital gains. You get exemption up to 1,25,000. Your capital gains up to 1,25,000 are tax free. So when you are selling, try to keep it below that or around that so that you take benefit of that gain. And that's called gain harvesting. So you don't pay taxes, you sell. And then when you buy new mutual funds, you are actually at the profitable end because you have got rid of your old, the bad funds, low quality funds or stocks, and now you're into new funds and you've not paid a single tax. So keep an eye on that, 1,25,000. And now point number 5. A lot of times, a lot of activities, especially around SIPs, happen in bear markets and bull markets. In bear markets, many stop their SIPs. And in bull markets, many increase their SIPs. So my recommendation is that stay put, continue your SIPs, don't have to increase your SIPs necessarily. Remember that you increase your SIPs when the markets are down because you get more units. When the markets are going up, there's no advantage unless you have chosen a new fund or unless it's in your plan that you have to do a step up SIP. Do not get into a FOMO and start SIPs into some thematic sectoral funds or this fund or that fund which somebody has advised. Stay calm. When the markets are going up, there is no point investing more. Probably wait for the market to stabilize. And when the market is flat or going down, that is when you have to increase your SIPs. Right now, stay put. Your goal with SIPs should be aligning to your financial goals, not otherwise. Do not take any action during the bull run and unnecessarily increase your SIPs. On the contrary, this is the best time to clean up. This is the best time to reassess, right? So let's do a quick summary of what we have done. First is cleaning up of stocks and funds. And we talked about number of funds, reducing the size of the funds and stocks into a reasonable size which you can manage and move them into debt funds probably because there you stand to gain if the interest rates fall. Second is I talked about reassessing your risk profile, extremely important, where you also rebalance your portfolio. Then we talked about reassessing your financial goals. Then is capital loss and capital gain harvesting, taking advantage of the exemptions and the IT laws which allow us to set off. That way you stand to gain, you don't pay extra income tax. And finally, talk about SIPs. Do not rush and make changes to your SIPs. Continue your SIPs just the way they are. I hope this will prepare you for the upcoming days and months when the markets may move up. If they go up, you have a game plan. Just the way we prepare for the summer or winter appropriately, this is the time when we prepare for this new season of equities, equity markets. Let me know what did you learn, and if there's anything else beyond these 5 you think we should do, please let us know in the comments. Probably you are experienced and you have done something in the past which could be helpful to all those who are watching. This is what I do personally, and I'm hoping that you also will do it and benefit from this because this is going to actually improve your returns exponentially in the long run. If you liked it, please click the thumbs up and like. If you didn't like it, you can always click the dislike button, but please do let me know what you liked, what you didn't like in this video. And if you are not yet a subscriber, I encourage you to subscribe and keep watching these videos and be a part of this community. I hope to see you very soon.